Today, we have a highly focused and honestly incredibly potent explainer for you. We're diving deep into a core psychological principle of deal-making. We're looking at a very concise, brilliantly targeted piece of source material that completely flips the traditional script on how we approach the negotiating table. We aren't going to look at complex financial formulas or aggressive debate tactics today. Now, instead, we're looking at something much more foundational. We're talking about the sovereign power of walking away.
Can you walk away during negotiation? It's written almost as a statement as much as a question, right? And it instantly forces us to confront our own mindset. Actually, think about that for a second. When you sit down to negotiate, whether it's for a car, a new salary, or even a massive corporate merger, do you genuinely feel right in your gut that you can simply stand up and leave? Or do you kind of feel trapped by the whole process? This single question is literally the absolute bedrock of everything we're about to unpack.
Now, what's really interesting about this core text is how much it packs in to just a few lines. It says, when you are negotiating, always keep yourself in a position where you can walk out anytime. That is the power and shows that you have belief in your strength and resources. You either win the deal or, at the best, not be a loser in the deal. Don't let its brevity fool you. This single paragraph outlines the action, the psychology behind that action, and the guaranteed outcomes of real human leverage. We're going to spend the rest of our time dissecting these exact sentences, because understanding the architecture of this specific mindset, it absolutely changes everything.
Part 1. The ultimate negotiation question. Positioning yourself for the exit.
Always keep yourself in a position where you can walk out anytime. The absolutely crucial word here is position. This is a continuous state of being, always. It means that before you even utter your very first word at the table, you must deliberately construct your situation so that exiting is a viable, completely safe option. If you haven't engineered that specific position for yourself, well, you've already compromised your standing before the negotiation has even begun.
Part 2. The anatomy of power. Why walking away is absolute strength.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the text defines power. It defines it entirely neutrally. It's not about yelling the loudest, making aggressive threats, or manipulating the other side. No way. Power is defined simply as keeping yourself in that walking away position, which in turn acts as a demonstration. It's like a quiet, internal law of physics. When you hold this position, it naturally projects something absolutely vital to the other party.
And what exactly does it project? Belief in your strength and resources. This is just beautiful because it shows that the act of walking away isn't born out of desperation or frustration or throwing a temper tantrum. It stems directly from absolute self-reliance. By being completely willing to walk out, you're signaling, both to yourself and your counterpart, that you have alternative resources. You're signaling that you possess the internal strength to survive perfectly well without this specific deal. That belief, that is your ultimate armor.
So there's a perfect chronological logic embedded here. It's really a three-step flow. Step 1 is the physical and strategic setup. Keep your position to walk out. Step 2 is the psychological manifestation. Show belief in your resources. And Step 3 is the inevitable result of the first two. You either win or you don't lose. This proves how your initial, foundational mindset mathematically guarantees a safe, protected outcome. It completely removes the possibility of a catastrophic failure.
Part 3. Winning versus not losing. Redefining a successful negotiation.
So the crucial point is that the text presents two parallel outcomes of holding the power to walk away. On one side, you win the deal. On the other, you ensure you are not a loser in the deal. The profound insight here is that both of these are completely acceptable, highly successful results. Walking away isn't a failure to reach an agreement, it is the active prevention of becoming a loser in a bad deal.
By possessing the sovereign power to leave, you basically construct an invisible, impenetrable shield around yourself. You're completely protected. If the terms are right, awesome, you win the deal. But if the terms are poor, you execute your power, you walk away, and you ensure that you do not become a loser. You secure a safe exit with your resources entirely intact.
And that brings us to the final essential question. In your next negotiation, are you prepared to walk out? Have you actually built that position? Do you possess that rock-solid belief in your resources? The material makes it crystal clear. Your success and your protection from failure relies entirely on your ability to say no and literally walk through that door. Think deeply about how you can engineer this sovereign power before you next take a seat at the table. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.